Unit 1 Theoretical Framework of Business Environment. Let's see the concept or nature of business environment. A business environment gets its resources from the environment and supplies its goods and services back to the environment. There are different levels of environmental forces. Some are close to the business and they are known as internal forces, whereas there are some external forces. The combination of both these forces affect the business. Let's see some of the definitions of business environment. Business environment has been defined as the total of all things external to the firms and industries which affect the organizational operation. This is given by Baird O. Wheeler. Arthur M. Weimer says business environment encompasses the climate or set of conditions, economic, social, political, or institutional, in which business operations are conducted. So basically, they describe the different conditions in which business enterprise operates. And those conditions are known as business environment. The business environment is dynamic and beyond the control of business. They provide opportunities as well as threats to business. Therefore, business organizations cannot control the external environment, but they can just react by grasping the available opportunities and facing the threats that emerge from the business environment. It is therefore very important to analyze business environment to develop effective business strategy in order to survive and get success in the industry. Characteristics of business environment. First, environment is complex. Business environment is a complex phenomena. It is very difficult to grasp it because it is governed by external forces which are unpredictable. The government intervention can become frequent. This is the environment that develops by chance and not by choice. In addition, the environment factors vary from country to country. For example, the business environment in India and in the USA may not be the same. Although it is easy to scan the environment, but it is very difficult to know how these changes will influence the business. Sometimes the change may be minor, but it might have large impact on the business. For example, a change in government policy to increase the tax rate by 5% may affect the income of the company to a large extent. Second, environment is dynamic. Business environment is not static, it is dynamic and keeps on changing. It changes frequently due to various external forces, that is, economic forces, political, social, international, technological, demographic. Business enterprises have no option but to operate under such dynamic environment. That is why it is essential to monitor the environment, and also it is necessary to scan the environment, and this has to be done continuously in order to adjust the business as per the environmental changes. Next is environment is multifaceted. That is, different people have different viewpoints towards the environment. Environment changes are frequent. Now these changes can be seen differently by different people. A particular change in the environment may be viewed differently by different businessmen. This change is welcomed as opportunity by some businesses, while some businesses will see this change as a threat. Therefore, the shape and character of the business environment depends upon the knowledge and experience of the person who analyzes the business environment. So, depending upon his knowledge and experience, he will identify opportunities or threats involved in the business environmental changes. Fourth, environment has long-term impact on business. Environment has long-lasting impact on the functioning of business organization. The growth and profitability of the business depends upon the environment under which it operates. The influences of the business environment on the business enterprises may be either positive or negative. These influences may affect the profitability, efficiency, and development of business. It can also lead to permanent shutdown of business. So these long-lasting impacts can be either positive or negative. Fifth, environment is uncertain. Business environment is uncertain because it is very dynamic. It is fully unpredictable. Very difficult to predict the changes of business environment. For example, the customer taste, preferences, prices of raw materials, competition, this keeps on changing, and it is not same. It does not follow a particular pattern also. Therefore, all businesses should be ready to make changes in business practices when such uncertain situation arises. All factors are interconnected. So all environmental forces and factors are interconnected and interrelated to each other. For example, because of influence of Western culture, the demand for fast food is increasing, or demand for Western clothes is increasing. Another example is if there is inflation in the price of raw materials. So if prices of the raw material increase, then also it will affect the final product. Therefore, the selling price will also increase. This will have an impact on the demand for the product. The customers' demand for this product will reduce, or because customers will buy products which are available at lower prices. This will affect the revenue of the company, and therefore it will affect the economy. Therefore, the change in one factor of the business environment will affect the remaining of all the factors of the business environment. Next is significance of business environment. Now we'll see how this business environment or proper scanning of business environment helps the businesses to grab the opportunities and to acquire a greater market share. Helps in tapping useful resources. So if proper environmental scanning is undertaken, it will help the businesses to identify the best resources which are required for the business. It will help the firm to track these resources and convert them into goods and services. Second is identifying firm's strengths and weaknesses. Business environment helps to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the business. If they undertake scanning of their internal environment, that is employees, the organizational structure, organizational culture, the location of the business, okay, they have to do the scanning in view of technological and global developments. Third, enables to identify business opportunities. So all the changes which take place in the business environment are not negative. Some are also positive, but it is very difficult to identify these positive changes. So proper scanning is required in order to identify which changes can become an opportunity for the business. If changes are evaluated properly, they can be opportunities for business and they can result in success of the business. It is very important to identify these changes and use them as tool to solve problems of the business. Business environment enables the business to identify the areas for growth and expansion of their activities. Identification of threats and warning signals. So some changes may be negative and these are known as threats. So through environmental scanning, these threats can be identified first only as warning signals. Business enterprises are able to identify possible threats in future through environmental scanning. This will help the business enterprises to meet the challenges in future successfully. Coping with changes. Business must be aware of the ongoing changes in the business environment, whether they are related to customer requirement or emerging trends or new government policies or technological changes, etc. Business is aware of these regular changes, then it can frame strategies with these changes. Help to understand market condition. It is necessary for an enterprise to have knowledge of the market structure and changes taking place in the market. The knowledge about increase and decrease in demand, supply, monopolistic practices, government participation in business, etc. All this information is necessary for an enterprise. Through environmental scanning, firms are able to analyze the competitor strategies and formulate proper strategies accordingly. Seventh, helps in improving performance and image building. Enterprises that are thoroughly scanning their business environment, it helps them to deal with the changes presented and also it helps them to become successful. They are able to adapt to these changes and this helps them to improve the performance and survive in the market. It helps them in improving their image by meeting the demands of customers, by offering them new products and services as per their changing needs, desires, preferences, taste. 8. Assistance in planning. After analyzing the changes in the business environment, the business can develop plans to deal with the changes for a secure. Environmental analysis serves as a basis for formulating strategies in order to deal with threats and take maximum advantage of opportunities. Ninth, continuous learning. Scanning the business environment, identifying opportunities, and developing strategies to deal with business environment are some of the phases of learning process. Through this, the managers are motivated to continuously update their knowledge and skills in order to meet the changes which are predicted in the business environment. It also helps the firm to become immune to changing technology of customers. Proper analysis of business environment is an intellectual exercise. It stimulates the managers in their decision making. First, rapid evolution. As technologies edit, the current technology system and processes that appear to be perfect can quickly become obsolete. This creates uncertainty and makes it difficult to plan activities. To deal with this constant, so they can modify and adapt the changes as needed. Globalization. Even if the product is marketed in limited geographical area, it has to face tough competition with companies and substitutes from around the world. These products may be of high quality and sold at less. Firms should work on developing strong relationships and brand loyalty in order to be competitive in the market. The firm should look far and wide for the best and the cheapest resources available. Regulation. Every business must comply with rules and regulations relevant to the industry. They should also comply with general guidelines related to accounting and tax liabilities. These regulations can affect production activities, pricing strategies, marketing, finance, and other important management positions. The success and growth of the business depends upon the management. The firm has to choose carefully while appointing managers. The firm has to look after training and also change the attitude of the managers with respect to environmental changes. The manager should be flexible enough to make adjustment according to the changes in the business environment. Ethics. A business should operate with integrity and should build a loyal customer base. It should pay its staff fairly, and this will help in resilient employees in the business. Business should avoid unsound and unethical practices such as unfair billing practice, failure to terms associated with the product and services, and dishonest bookkeeping. This will lead to legal issues and will affect the reputation of the business. Sixth, personnel. A business should hire qualified staff and should take steps to retain them. Firms have to deal with personnel problems such as difficulty in hiring qualified and experienced employees, paying high benefits and incentives, dealing with lazy employees.